Playas, how you doing? Welcome back to Playas Guide for this month's Retro Gaming News, May 2021. Here's what's new in the world of retro gaming for May 2021. Anguna Scourge the Goblin King is a new NES homebrew that is now live on Kickstarter. You could go fund this homebrew, which is near completion, from Bite the Chili Productions and being released by 6502 Productions, who have released several really good games over the past year, one of which was Trophy that we played here on Playas Guide. So you could expect good things from this NES RPG being released. Another homebrew that was just released and free to download is Altercation, which is a style of game similar to something you would see along the lines of Combat on the Atari 2600, but this game is for your NES. I'll talk a little bit more about this game and Anguna in the future, because June is homebrew month here on Playas Guide. So if you're not familiar with my streams that are live every Saturday night on Twitch, I do a retro indie show where I play all new retro games, whether they're indie games for newer consoles that look like retro games or newer games for older consoles. That's the deal. And the whole of Playas Guide, we're going to be streaming that all month long, and that will be the topic of many of the YouTube videos. So please give us a follow on Twitch and subscribe on YouTube. Now, Micro Mages, along with some of the other games from Broken Studios, have been bundled together and released on Famicom cartridges. So if you are playing in Japan and you want to play some of these games on your Famicom, or you just like the look of these pink cartridges or Famicom games in general, then they're out there now for you to pick up. Bevercade Founders Edition is now available for pre-order. I'll put a link to below for that as well. And this is through Funstock Games. This is an HD console that is going to have all of its own cartridge-based games. Now, it does come with 6 cartridges, which feature over 50 games amongst them for you to play with this Founders Edition. So there's lots to play if you do decide to pre-order it. And for those of you who've watched some of the past episodes of Playas Guide and aren't too keen on the digital future, here you go. Here is a brand new console releasing brand new cartridge-based games for you to collect. Netflix has released a trailer for a new Resident Evil series. It looks like it's a series. There hasn't been too much given away from this trailer, but if it's anything like The Witcher and the Castlevania series that they released, I'm really going to enjoy it. Now, I have played a few Resident Evil games, but I'm not really into Resident Evil, so I'm sure that people that are excited for this, and people that aren't, that's still something to look forward to, because I'm sure Netflix is going to do a bang-up job at this one, and it is a 3D animation style of anime. Sonic Kart 3DX has now been released, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, this was a mobile game that was never released. Now, it doesn't look like anything too great, but this game was supposed to be released nearly 20 years ago. So have a look here. I think it was supposed to be like 2003 or 4 or something that was going to come out on mobile phones. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below. I can't exactly remember the details of the article. It could have been 2006, but it's still, at least 15 to 20 years ago, this game was supposed to be released. It never was released, but now you can go ahead and play it. Blade of Agony is a Wolfenstein hack remaster, adding some extra levels and features to the game. You can play in a low quality version, or you could play it in a high definition quality version. The choice is yours. There are multiple new stages for you to play through. This is a long awaited hack that's been in the works for many years, and now it's available to play. And within that first person retro style shooter community, there are a lot of people who have been excited for this one. R-Type Final 2 was released at the very end of April. Now I know this isn't May, but it didn't make it into April's retro gaming news, and I wanted to include it even though it's not really a retro game. It is certainly a game that would appeal to many retro gamers, as many of us are fans of shoot-'em-ups. And another game that is going to be released at the beginning of June, and I wanted to squeeze this in here in May's news because I wanted to tell you about it now so you could go and buy the game when it comes out. I know I will be. It's Astalon, being released on the PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and on Steam. This is a new game with retro aesthetics that I love. It looks like a lot of fun platforming throughout this one. If you enjoy the channel, please subscribe and give us a follow on Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch for daily retro gaming streams. June is the month of homebrews, and we will be streaming and covering homebrews throughout the entire month of June. So if you're a fan of new games, and you probably are if you're watching the retro gaming news, you're going to want to tune in for that. Also, join the conversation on the Discord, linked below in the channel description. If I missed anything that I didn't include that you think I should have in the May Retro Gaming News, leave a link to it below in the comments area and make a comment. Thanks so much for tuning in to this episode of Playas Guide. I'll see you next week. Until then, Playas Guide wants to be your source for retro gaming and collecting. Later, Playas.